This is our video for Chapter 3, Section 5, Least Common Multiple. The three vocabulary terms you need to have in your notebook after this video are multiple, common multiple, and least common multiple. A multiple of a number is the product of that number and a non-zero whole number. So if we wanted to look at multiples of 6, and we were going to say 6 times 1 equals 6. 6 times 2 equals 12. 6 times 3 equals 18. Or 6 times some number we don't know equals 6y, or whatever you want to make your variable. It just means any number times another whole number that isn't 0 is a multiple. A number that is a multiple of each of 2 or more numbers is a common multiple. So that means if you have 1 times 18 gives you 18, 2 times 9 gives you 18, and 3 times 6 gives you 18. So 18 is a common multiple for 1, 2, 3, 18, 19, or 6. So you could say 18 is a common multiple of 6 and 9, or 3 and 2, or what have you. Those are all factors of 18, so 18 is a common multiple of those factors. It's kind of the opposite of greatest common factor that we did in the previous section. The least common multiple, as I already said, is pretty much the opposite of the greatest common factor that we had before. Least common multiple is the least common multiple of 2 or more numbers is the least multiple that is common to all the numbers. What that means is, if we're looking at, say, multiples of 4, we have 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 5 is 20, 4 times 6 is 24. Alright, then if say we want to do the multiples of 6. Alright, so we would have 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, 6 times 5 is 30, 6 times 6 is 36. Alright, so the ones they have in common, the ones that are common multiples, are 12 and 24. But if we were looking for the least common multiple, that's the smallest number that they have in common, that would be 12. So the least common multiple for 6 and 4 is 12. Pause the video and try these in your notebook. List the multiples to find the least common multiple. So I want to see the multiples of the individual numbers and then show or label which is the least common multiple. You can also use prime factorization to find the least common multiple. So we're going to factor down our numbers until they're down to primes. So 6 we know can be split into 3 and 2, which are both prime. 9 can be split into 3 and 3, which are both prime. And 15 can be split into 3 and 5, that are both prime. Now, the way this works is, the first thing you look at is which one has a prime number happening the most times. What I mean by that is 9 has 3 happening twice. So we take the 3's from there, 3 times 3. Then we look at the other two. We've already used 3, so we don't need any more of those, but the 2 is new, so we bring the 2 down as well. Again, we already have the 3, so we don't need it from there, but we need the 5 because it's different. So your least common multiple for these 3 numbers, you take the prime numbers we've pulled out, and so we would have 3 times 3 times 2 times 5, which gives us 90. 90 is our least common multiple for these factors using prime factorization to find it. Okay? Let's look at another one because that idea is kind of confusing. So if we wanted to look at, say, 8 10 and 20. So if we wanted to find the prime factorization for these 3 numbers to find what their least common factor is, or least common multiple is. So we have to factor them out. So 8 is 2 times 4, which goes to 2 times 2. So right now we have 2 times 2 times 2. That one's down to prime factors. 10 is going to go to 2 and 5, which are both prime. 20 goes to 5 and 4, and then the 4 goes into 2 2s. So we're going to look and see. Okay, when we're looking at our prime factorization, we're looking for where numbers happen the most often. So with the 8, there's 1 2 and 10, there's 2 2s and 20, but there are 3 2s in 8. So we get the one where it happens the most often. So we're going to start with 2 times 2 times 2. All right. And then we're going to look at 10. We already have a 2, so we don't need that. But the 5 is new, so we're going to bring the 5 down. For 20, we already have a 5 and we already have 2s, so we have everything we need. So then 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 is 40. So the least common multiple for 8, 10, and 20 is 40 using prime factorization this way. Now, pause the video and try this one in your notebook. Use prime factorization to find the least common multiple of 6, 8, and 12. Check your understanding. 1. Vocabulary. Use the word multiple in a sentence about math. List 4 multiples of each of the following numbers. Number 2, 7. Number 3, 8. Number 4, 11. Number 5. Find the least common multiple of 16 and 24 using prime factorization. Enjoy the rest of your evening.